Baylor Bears, Scott Drew, apparently a top 25 team in 2025-26, if you're asking one Jamie Shaw. But for those of us who have followed it and look at the roster as it's constructed right now, you're like, you know what? This is a good start. And it is. It is a good start. They're more than halfway there, but there's open spots on this roster. And we know that from kind of reading between the lines a little bit that Baylor is not done going out and trying to get guys. They have continued to throw offers out there. And their most recent one is to, I would say, a controversial figure. Not with any, big time criminal record or anything off the court, but the guy is Duke Miles. And the reason he's controversial is because he has entered the portal again. He has gotten out of his NLI from Texas A&M, and he is now searching for his fourth basketball team in 2 months. Bravo, transfer portal. You guys are nailing it. Duke Miles played at Oklahoma last year. He played only 1 year at OU in the SEC for Porter Moser. 9.5 points, 2.5 rebounds, 2 assists a game for a 6'2" senior guard. And I say senior is almost like scratching the surface. I mean, Duke Miles was playing the year that Baylor won the national championship. He was playing college basketball that year and actually only averaging a point less a game than he did this past year back in 2021. 3 years at Troy, a year at High Point in 23-24 when he averaged 17.5 a game. I mean, the dude was dicing it up in the group of 5, group of 4, whatever it is now. And last year at Oklahoma, again, the 9.5 points a game. And he is looking for a 6th year of college basketball. And he is making sure he's in the right spot. Okay. The dude is not afraid to go and ask out because he entered the portal after leaving OU. He commits to Virginia, decommits a couple days later, commits to A&M, signs the NLI, and 3 days after that, he's in the portal again. And he has no shortage of suitors, by the way. Baylor is competing with Georgetown, Virginia again for some reason, Tennessee, USC, Iowa, the Zags, Vandy, Arizona State, and West Virginia, both in the Big 12, and St. Mary's. All these teams are willing to say, you know what, we're going to be the one that he sticks around for, including Virginia, whom he just left. I don't know what he's like defensively, and it feels like Baylor would be going more for wing guys at this point, but they certainly need depth. This guy comes in as a starter. He played starter minutes last year for OU. He started all 34 games for them. 25 minutes a game. Like, this is not a guy you're just going to bring to the Big 12 and bury on your bench, even though, Scott Drew and this Baylor program is better than the Oklahoma program. It's not like you just bury him on the end of the bench. And I got to say, the talent's there, right? Again, the guy shoots over 50% from the floor. 9.5 points a game isn't nothing. He shot 43% from 3 last year. The last 2 years where his usage was higher and his 3-point attempts were higher. He shot 36% and 47% on 3 attempts a game in his last year at Troy in 2023. I was a lot younger then. I had a lot more hair then. It's been a while. But the guy's a pretty good shooter, and you can always use that. But dare I say, do you chase after a guy like this? Again, I'm not saying he's like a bad kid. Doesn't have a record that I know of or anything like that. But when you've just replaced your whole roster, the whole team left, and you're desperately trying to fill it out in May and possibly into June here, you really going to pick a guy who's looking for his 4th team in 2 months? You really going to be looking for a guy who has lasted less than a week at each of his last 2 stops? Nothing changed at Virginia. Tony Bennett was already gone when he committed there and when he decommitted. Nothing changed at A&M. They already had the coaching change when he committed and then when he asked out of his national letter of intent. There's something going on here that's probably more than just money. Because now, again, he's looking for his third stop. Like he's got an NIL deal with U-Haul. He's just going back and forth. I think you need something of a commitment, a real tangible commitment, as much as you can get in college sports these days, right? If you're Scott Drew and Baylor, you just can't be like, yeah, Duke, come on in here. Please don't leave us in 4 days. Because that's already there. And if you if you do get a commitment from a kid like that after already sending out the offer and he does the same thing, fool me thrice. Shame on you, man. Like, it's just not, I don't think it's the kind of risk that Baylor can take right now, even though Duke Miles is a good player. And in a vacuum, from his stats, he would absolutely be a guy I'd want to have on this team. But it's not just what's on the stat sheet. I think any team putting a serious push for Duke Miles right now, after what we've seen in this offseason, is a foolish team. And I said this about a couple of portal guys, including Obi Agbim, and it goes the same for Duke Miles. I'm never going to knock a kid for trying to get more money. Now, there are certain things about the money that I think we can knock people for, right? Like, I won't relitigate the Rob Wright situation. But in a case like this, and what I said for Obi Agbim, you've played a bunch of college basketball already. You're in a time and place where you can milk one more year out of it and get some real money for a guy who's playing at Troy and High Point. Real money, much more than you or probably you or I make. And so I can't fault a kid for trying to do that. But at some point, you've got to pick one. You've got to pick one. And I doubt that Duke Miles is going to double his salary, NIL agreement at Gonzaga from what he was getting at Virginia or A&M, who has endless pockets, or even OU. And so certainly that would be the case for Baylor as well. It seems like Georgetown is the team that's really hot on his trail. He's already got a visit planned for Georgetown, I think today. So he could be a Langston Love teammate. Who knows? Maybe that knocks Langston Love out of the rotation. He doesn't like it, and he comes back to Baylor. Who knows? Put on my tinfoil hat. I like the stats. I like the player. But it would feel weird to bring this kid in and expect him to trot out there on opening night after what we've seen in this offseason so far. And I'm sure there are plenty of things at play here. Again, I'm not trying to say this kid's scummy or anything, but at some point you have to be like, I can't trust this player to hold this commitment from May to November. That's all. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Of course, Baylor still needs to get some bodies in here. They still need to get some players. So take that for what it's worth. But is Duke Miles worth the risk? Let me know in the comment section below. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification button. It's all free, and you'll be helping us big time for me to keep my job and help us on the path towards 4,000 subscribers.